David Eubanks wanted to be in the Army since he was a little boy growing up in Texas. He got his opportunity and eventually became part of Special Forces. When he left the Army, he didn't leave the fight and formed an organization called Free Burma Rangers. Hello, I'm Scott Ott with Bill Whittle and Stephen Green, and this is your Right Angle, brought to you by the members at BillWhittle.com. Free Burma Rangers had focused at first, as you might expect, at Burma, but David Eubank decided that he really wanted to play a role in helping people in conflict zones, in other words, in war areas. Most recently, he and several of his associates have been part of the effort to retake Mosul in Iraq. And during that time, as the internet video will attest, and we will show here, David Eubank had an extraordinary opportunity. ISIS had set up sniper positions and was just taking down local people who were trying to escape from their tyrannical rule and also from just the wrath of war as it was going on around them. And as these innocent civilians were fleeing, the ISIS snipers were just picking them off. Among the pile of dead bodies, David Eubank and his colleagues saw that there was a child that appeared to be alive. Eubank and his buddies put together a little plan, so the two other guys actually laid down covering fire, and Eubank ran out into this field, and it took him about 12 seconds to do so, but he picked up that little child and brought the child back to the safe cover, hiding behind a tank. Now, they're actually embedded with, I believe, some Peshmerga Kurdish forces, but what allowed him actually to get out there in the field was not only the covering fire, but the American support of smoke canisters that laid down a shield between the injured victims and the dying victims and their slaughterhouse, evil, sniping crew from ISIS. This video, the copy I saw of it, has not yet gone viral. And I don't know, Bill Whittle, if it's because David Eubank was Special Forces that this video hasn't gotten a lot more play, or maybe people just haven't caught on to it yet. But what do you think of a guy who lays down his life to go out there and rescue a random small child in the middle of Iraq?
Well, what do you say about people like that? People like that are the entire reason we're all here. It's been a history of people like that have given us the freedom to talk about whatever we want to on the show, criticize the President of the United States, all of this stuff. I know it sounds like a cliche, and I know it's very easy to say, oh, well, we owe him our freedom and stuff. But what it really comes down to is this is an individual with one life. He doesn't have 15 lives and peels one off for the government. He has one life. He has a family at home. He has people to come home to. And he's not unaware of the fact that this effort not only might cost him his life, but in fact likely will cost him his life. So I suspect, Scott, that in a situation like that, people like this incredible man don't think about it too much. I think they think about it going into battle. I think they make this calculation before they get on the airplane to go. But I suspect that once you're in a situation like that, your inclination is want to keep your head down and get those enemy fire suppressed or eliminated. But I think when you see a wounded child out in the middle of nowhere on the street, I think men like that don't have to do a calculation. I think they just know that they're going to go and do it, and these are the people that make not only civilization possible, but also worth having. As far as the viral quality goes, that's the kind of the definition of a viral video, right? People just think it's a popular video, it's a viral video, went viral. Well, technically speaking, the idea of the viral video is that it starts out unknown. One person sees it, shares it to 10. Those 10 people share it to another 10. And then it just rapidly doubles and triples and so on. So it'd be very nice to think that maybe we're doing a little part to get that ball rolling. And certainly would be my hope that people not only share this episode, which would be nice, but certainly share that video that we saw, which would, I think, be essential.
Stephen Green, apparently everyone around this little child, which I believe was a little girl, was already dead, including her mother that she was clinging to. And David Eubank said that before he ran out into that field, he thought about his own wife and children. And his thought was, if I die doing this, they'll understand. How is that possible?
Wow, I'm going to have to go back to I went into a couple of weeks ago. There's a story Robert Heinlein told. I think it was in Time Enough for Love, about a man on a little picnic with his pregnant wife, and they're crossing railroad tracks to get to the lovely field, and her foot gets stuck in the tracks. There is the oncoming train. Just every bit of melodrama you could possibly imagine. The husband is trying in vain to free her in time. A wandering hobo sees what's going on, and he pitches in, and the two men are there trying to free this woman from the tracks until the train kills all three of them. Well, we know why the husband was there. It's his honor and duty to fight to the death for his family. But what about the hobo? And I think the who died just like the husband, even though he didn't have anything invested. This was not his family. These weren't his people. And I think the answer to that question is that thing, that very best within us, is what compels us to protect families, to protect women and children, and that any civilization is not built on that foundation is ultimately self-genocidal. And this gentleman, this former soldier, he's one of the best of us.
And I got to be honest with you folks who are watching this. We did this whole episode just so you could see this video. That's,
That's
we,
all right.
as we roll it here in B-roll numerous times, I hope, as we're recording this. And it's because we don't get to see enough of this stuff. I'll tell you a couple of interesting things about David Eubank, other than the fact that he was Special Forces. Number one, there's some indication in the story of the Los Angeles Times that David Eubank and I may not agree politically or on foreign policy on all things. Number two, I just learned, since yesterday's backstage meeting that members can watch at BillWhittle.com, that David Eubank is a professing Christian and actually went to seminary. This does not surprise me entirely. And
Me neither.
yeah, and number three, that he took his family with him. So his wife is actually homeschooling the kids wherever they are in the world. So they have gone along with him. Look, it's always a startling thing when one man lays down his life for another. But the United States military had their name stained during the Vietnam War by agitators who referred to them as baby killers. What we don't see enough of, and what happens probably every day with our armed forces, is their role as baby savers. For Bill Whittle, Stephen Green, and the entire team at Right Angle, I'm Scott Ott. Thanks to the members at BillWhittle.com for making this possible.